Welcome to another episode of Chocolate Cake on Tuesday. I am your host, Charlotte Emma. Welcome to the lounge. The chocolate cake is almost cool enough to ice, but in the meantime, make yourself comfy and I'll tell you a little bit about what's coming up in today's episode. I hope you're doing so well on this fall day. Today's episode is all about fall. It's a more light-hearted episode. Hopefully, if you have had a strenuous week, you can dial in and take a break. I have a plan, but whether we go according to this plan, I am not sure. We'll see what the Lord wants to do. I'm open, so yeah, let's go over what we're doing today. Let me just get comfy. I am so excited about this episode. I love fall. It was our first fall last year. I will tell you more about our story later. I will also include some remedies for those winter blues if you are not looking forward to the cold, dark months. Coming up, I will be talking about some homekeeping that you can practice during fall to make your home more cozy. I'll be going over a couple of fall traditions around the world and also what is the difference between fall and autumn. And I'll be looking at some special recommendations that I found that may be helpful for you for families, couples, and of course singles. If you would like to do something fun this fall, pick one and do it, tag me, and let's have fun together. If you are listening to this and you are in the Southern Hemisphere, as I think 30% of you are, hi, and it's spring right now. So I have a few suggestions. A, keep listening to this episode. It's quite entertaining, and you might find some activities that you can do in spring nonetheless. However, if you do feel like you'd like to save this for your autumn months next year in March, go ahead and download it and save it for later. But I do mention some couple of things that you can do in spring as well. So do stay listening and see if there's something that you might be able to do this season. Okay, it is all about seasons this episode, and for me, fall, spring, these two seasons kind of sneak up on us, especially fall in the Northern Hemisphere at least, because we've just finished our summer holidays and we're feeling all relaxed and like dazed, what is life? And then all of a sudden school starts, it's a new work quarter, church may be going into a new season, like it's crazy. And what is this fall season all about that's kind of happening around it? We sort of see the colors are starting to change. We sort of notice the temperature is getting a little bit colder. It's starting to be gray and raining. And so things are sort of happening, but we're too busy to sort of notice this. And so by the time we take a breather, it's freezing and it's winter. And what happened to fall? Where did all of those beautiful colors go? I missed them. So in an effort to avoid missing fall, we are going to have a whole episode dedicated to this season alone. Last year was our first fall in the Northern Hemisphere. Why this is such a big deal is because in the Southern Hemisphere, or South Africa at least, we don't get as many colors in fall, and the season is sort of short-lived. We get a very long summer and a very short winter, and fall is this itty-bitty bloop in the middle that doesn't really do much. So it was really exciting for me to embrace the rain in the fall, because in South Africa it rains in the summer, and so increased humidity, it gets colder more quickly, and of course these beautiful European trees get beautiful autumn coats on, which I was super excited about. What fall looks like for me? Fall is making apple cider and playing Minecraft. It is movie night in with fairy lights and candles, a nature hike in the mountains and forests, shopping in the mall with Christmas decor and lights and huge trees all lit up, chestnuts roasting on the side of the cobbled streets when it's very cold outside and the streets are all glistening because it's just been raining. Never-ending cinnamon cookies in a jar in the living room, and toasted marshmallows in the mountains. So let's talk a little bit about autumn versus fall. What is the difference? I was confused. I have completely adopted fall now since being here, but I had never used it in South Africa. So let's be honest, there is no inherent reason to divide the year into 4 necessarily. In fact, some parts in Australia divide their year into 2 seasons, and that is dry and that is wet. This is so practical, much less complicated, and I feel like we should all adopt this. However, because we are romantic and sentimental and we like our hot chocolate or apple cider with a blanket while the fall leaves are falling, we have a season in between winter and summer. And this is called spring or fall. Where did these come from? Well, essentially summer and winter marked 2 seasons where it was cold and hot. And if anything, during the period of time where people were using summer and winter, which was ages ago, they would have called these 2 seasons Lent and harvest. Lent being spring around the time of Easter, and some traditions, Catholic Christian traditions that were happening in that time, and harvest, which is where seeds that had been planted in the summer were now being harvested. That's where sort of Thanksgiving comes in, and it's getting prepared for the winter months. During the time of the 16th century was the first time where people started using the words spring and fall, kind of meaning or symbolizing the new leaf springing. So it's kind of cute, but the spring of the leaf and then the fall of the leaf. And so this is when fall and spring started being used quite late in human history. And then autumn, actually, as formal as it sounds, was only brought in the 17th century after spring and fall by the British, and it is from French autumn, from Latin autumnus. So that's kind of a difference between fall and autumn. You use whichever one you wish. The American English vocabulary still uses fall, whereas the British vocabulary have completely gone over to autumn, which is why we in South Africa and probably Australia say autumn, because we were colonized by the British at some point.
Yes, quite absolutely right.
Okay, so like I said earlier, this season can sort of pass us by if we don't watch out or pay attention to things that are changing around us. And I'd like to invite you into a practice of noticing what has changed in the last 2 weeks, week, in your life, relating to the season physically being fall or spring, or unrelated to the season, maybe a work season or a career season or a family season. Well, some telltale signs that I have noticed that the physical seasons have changed from a long, beautiful summer to a very exciting fall is that the sky has changed. Almost true to the day that fall started, clouds covered Lisbon and it began to softly rain. So I am not used to this. As I said, it does not rain in South Africa in the fall, but I have loved it. It is so cozy. It has brought a coolness to the nights, whereas before we really struggled with the heat. Every evening, as I live next to the Rio Tejo in Lisbon, the mist settles just above the water every single night, and it is beautiful. The sunsets are stunning, and everything is just a little bit cozier. Apart from the sky changing, school is back. That doesn't mean as much to me as it does to a lot of you because I don't have kids. However, There is a school outside my window, and well, it's just across the block. And when they come back, they come back with a bang. They have been playing in the recess area, which is a basketball court. It's a small school, but there must be like 500 kids shouting as loud as they possibly can, screaming at each other, laughing, crying, all the things that kids like to do, and making chaos. So that is how I know fall has arrived, because summer break is over officially, and I need to think about some compressing blankets all over this room to try and block out kid noises from this podcast. So now that you have sort of noticed what is changing around you in this season, notice how you have already responded, or think about how you would like to respond to the season that is changing. For me, I cannot wait to redo my closet. In the summer months, I put away all my winter things that take up so much space, like jackets, scarves, my thick granny socks, and I put them in a box and I put them up into storage. If this is possible for you, I can really recommend it. Now that it is getting colder, I cannot wait to bring everything down and go shopping in my boxes for all of the cozy winter warm woolies. Another thing that we are doing is we are selling our car. What has this got to do with fall? Well, inherently, not much. We are selling it anyway. However, I was processing this and I was sad that we were selling Dear Percy. She has been a beautiful car that gave us many problems and is far too big for our needs. However, she's given us so many happy moments this summer. We have gone on holidays with her. We have gone to the beach, and she has provided the getaway car that we needed this summer. Summer is over, and I do feel like we would be going out less in the car. So saying goodbye to the car makes it easier that it's full. Another thing that we are doing is saving up for a piano. Again, we are doing this anyway, but I noticed how I felt about this, and I was excited because we are going to be spending a lot less time outdoors and a lot more time in our home. And I realized that having a piano would be an absolute beautiful blessing for our fall and winter, because it's just Jeffrey and I in our home. So we will be spending a lot of time just us two. This can either go very well or very badly. So having a piano makes things much easier. We both love music. Jeffrey is an avid pianist and I would love to learn. So this is something that we can spend our time on, and I am very excited about this thing that we are stepping into this season. Perhaps you are also preparing for fall. Please let me know how you are doing this. Perhaps you are cleaning out your fireplace if you have one. Perhaps you are getting excited for football season. Perhaps you're buying stationery and shoes for little hands and feet. As you've seen, this season looks very different for all of us. And I would hate to generalize on how we are celebrating fall. So I would like to take a moment to honor you in the season that you are in. Maybe it's a time for slowing down, taking a pause, reflecting, taking a moment to just be. Maybe we'll focus on getting a yoga session in our day, or making time to read, reprioritizing family dinner together, or a weekly family call. As the days are getting shorter for some of us, our bodies may be needing some rest from the summer busyness, the endless activities. Maybe we take some time to rejuvenate our skin after the long sunny days. Or, if you're in the southern hemisphere, days are beginning to grow longer. You have some time on your hands to watch a sunset, explore the world around you. You may need to apply deep care to your creaky bones or dry skin after the cold wintry days of hibernation. For us, it may be a time to rest, a time to smile, to just be, to light a candle, read a book, go for a walk alone or with a friend, play a game, read our Bible, breathe. Or maybe we are stepping into something new this season. A new work quarter, a new school year, a new season at church or in our business. Maybe you're expecting a baby, or your kid's first day of school is upon you. Maybe you've moved into a new home, a new city, or a different country. Plans are underway already, dreams are soaring. There are goals to meet and to-dos to tick off, a busy season ahead. A time to harvest what we've planted. Perhaps this calls for a couple of intentional planning sessions or a talk with the family to align expectations, or some color in our calendars to help us organize more clearly. In this season, you may plan a hike with friends, host a movie night, or learn to cook a new recipe. Maybe you dive into the next book on your shelf or sign up to that watercolor course you've been longing to do. We'll find little opportunities in amongst the busyness to add something colorful, something fun to each of our days. So, one thing that Jeffrey and I did last year that transformed our fall experience was that we created a fall bucket list, loved it so much, and then did the same thing for spring. Some things that you could add to your full bucket list first, and then some things that we are definitely putting on ours. Pick and choose what you like and let me know what yours looks like. If you like, write it down, take a picture, post it on Instagram, and tag Chocolate Cake Podcast. I will be watching. There is something included for families, couples, and singles in this list. I see you. Picking apples or blackberries. A board game afternoon. Leaf rubbings, where you take a leaf and on top you put a piece of paper and you take a wax crayon or a roll-up, what we used to call them, and you make different colored patterns on top of the leaf and you take it up and you can see the beautiful leaf pattern. It's beautiful, not just for kids. Picnic somewhere pretty. Bake something for your neighbor. Neighbors, watch out. Host a dinner party or hygge brunch. More on hygge later. And some things that we have already put on our bucket list, cannot wait to try. Go for a walk and crunch leaves. Excited for this one. Homemade apple cider, of course. Go away with friends for Thanksgiving. Make a pumpkin pie for Jeffrey. Make a soup with a pumpkin type that we've never had before. This is Jeffrey's addition. He's very excited about this. Build a puzzle. And go horse riding. Some home decor ideas. As I said earlier, we will be spending probably a lot more time at home than we were in summer. Also, if you're getting together with friends, it's more likely to happen in a home than in the park because it's just too cold or it's raining. And malls can get a little bit overrated if you're just doing that all the time. So, this is some ways to spice up your home. Please, guys, don't tune out here. This is actually very important for you. No, I'm joking. Either if you are married and you have a lady living with you and you want to surprise her by lighting a cinnamon candle when guests come over, she will be blown away, very happy. You will make her night, trust me. If you are single and you are having a games night or just people over for dinner or anything like these are just some small things that you could do that would really make your guests or yourself way more comfortable, cozy, and just feel like they can't wait to come back, if that's your goal. If you do not want them to come back, do the opposite. Fall music. There are 100 playlists on Spotify. If you type in fall playlist or fall instrumentals, fall jazz, fall pop, fall lo-fi, anything you want, it's there. They are a little bit more slower, more pensive in their mood, more moody in general. So if you're feeling like something upbeat but also fall, spice it up, do your own thing, create your own fall playlist and share it and tag me. Light candles. This is essential. With the sun dipping below the horizon a little bit earlier, we bring out our candles, it creates a nice scent, and it just looks so comfy cozy. I want to recommend, and they're not paying me, these wax candles. I have gotten about 5 comments on how gorgeous these wax candles are. They look real. So I hate wax candles. I hate fake flowers. Not my thing. However, I was going through so many candles that I got these. They come with a remote that you can make it look like a candle or a light. You can change the dimness. You can set a timer and you can turn them on and off with the remote. Jeffrey just fell in love because of the remote alone. But they look very realistic, and they have a glass around the outside that comes in 3 different colors: gray, brown, and clear. I chose the brown. Amazing. They come in a pack of 3, a little bit more expensive, but so worth it. I only bought 3 and I have them in my home. They're brilliant. If you are going the old-fashioned candles that are real, with a real flame, I still do it. It's amazing. I have a tip for you. Have you noticed that when you light your candle and you blow it out, light it, blow it out a few times, a tunnel starts to form and wax is left on the outside of the jar that you're using. How annoying, because you think, I paid so much money for this candle, why didn't it use all of its wax? It's because how we light it the first time. So the first time you light a candle in its life, when you just buy it from the store, make sure you light it for a few hours. You've got to light it so that the wax that becomes wet around the wick expands to reach the glass that it's in. Once the pool of wax, the wet wax, has reached the rim and it is now all liquid, you may blow the candle out. And every time you light it, it will burn away the wax from the glass in and not leave a tunnel. So give it a try. If it works, let me know. Full tip from your girl. I got you. So our next home decor tip is dried flowers. I haven't done this before, but I am so looking forward to trying this. A special shout out to our friend who has just created her very own dried flowers fall wreath to put on her front door. She sent this through on Instagram, and I am so proud of her. We'll hear her story a little bit more later. Another tip is to add a carpet. So this just creates some padding for the bottom of your feet, dampens the sound of the room so it's not so echoey, and it makes it more comfy and cozy in general. And if you want to just put a blanket around yourself and sit on the floor, it also makes it possible. Cinnamon scented things. Everything from candles to bathroom sprays to those little wooden sticks that you put in a scented liquid jar. I don't know what they're called. Aroma oils, freshly baked cookies, as many ways that you can get cinnamon into your home, do it. Blankets. This is maybe something that you don't have or you've put away. Bring them out. Maybe look and see if you can get a cheap one from IKEA. So this will just make your guests or yourself feel more cozy, more at home. Fluffier the better, but do supply blankets for everybody. It's just super helpful. And then if you are living by the coast like me, fall is a time that it gets super humid and lots of wetness around. What really helps is that if you have a problem with mold or you just want to breathe in some nice cool air, a dehumidifier is the way to go. Okay, now that we've spoken a little bit about what you can do to make your home and your fall be a little bit more exciting and intentional, I'd like to go over some holidays that are happening anyway this fall. Maybe some of them you celebrate, maybe some of them you know about but don't celebrate, and maybe others you're like, what? They actually do that? So this is to educate us, but also to shout out to those celebrating. Congratulations on your special day. Let me know what your favorite holidays are. In the polls, I will be posting that question with a couple of options. All you need to do is just check 1 or 2 or 5 that you celebrate wherever you are. The first one is Thanksgiving. This is a national holiday in the US that is on the 4th Thursday of every November. In Canada, they also celebrate it on the second Monday of every November. If you are not in the US, as many of my listeners are not in the US, you can still do your own thankful dinner. This is what my family and I did when we were, just for the last few years, like in my high school years, early 20s, we would do a thankful dinner on the same day as Thanksgiving. Really enjoyed this. My most memorable thankful dinner was with a friend in a little cottage that we were house sitting for someone. Her 2 little cats were there. We were babysitting them. And it was a stone house with a fireplace that we could not figure out how to light because the wood was slightly wet. We tried everything, but eventually we got it working. The house stank of smoke, but we were warm and cozy. We went through a list of what we were thankful for. We were both far from family, and for this year, it was so special for us. And we really connected well, and we encouraged each other, and it was a time of hope and Thanksgiving. So I can really recommend to adopt this if you are not doing this already. The second holiday that is happening anyway is Halloween. This happens on the 31st of every October on the eve of All Saints' Day, which is a Christian holiday in Europe as well. Halloween traces back to the ancient Celtic festival known as Samhain. Samhain? Am I pronouncing this correctly? A lot of people on this holiday, they celebrate the dead, including saints, martyrs, and all of the faithful departed. A lot of other people use this holiday for trick-or-treats and dress-up parties that are very cool. I don't personally celebrate Halloween, but it's quite big in Lisbon actually. I've never had someone actually trick-or-treat on my door. Festival of the Tents or Tabernacles. This one is my favorite. This one is a Jewish festival that is happening on the Friday, September 29th, for 7 days, all the way through to Friday, October 6th, my dad's birthday. And this is called a Sukkot in Hebrew, or Feast of Booths. The story goes that in the olden days, during the time of the Israelites wandering around in the wilderness, God provided shelter for them. And so up until this day, more than 4,000 years later, for 7 days, people actually move out of their homes and into homemade booths that they have built, and they live there. Now, a lot of families in modern day Judaism all over the world do not actually live in the tents for 7 days. They have their meals there. This is a time of great rejoicing for the people because this is a time of remembering God's provision. And we move from Israel all the way over to Thailand. If you are in Thailand in November this year, look up these festivals. It sounds beautiful. Ying Pen, which is basically the Festival of Lights. And this is when a whole lot of people send up paper lanterns into the sky. Kind of reminds me of Tangled. I have a dream, I have a dream. I just want to see the floating lanterns gleam. Anywho, symbolically, this releases any bad luck from the previous year for the Thai people. Loi Krasong, where they decorate leaf-made boats with colorful flowers and float them down the river, along with a little prayer of good fortune. There's also a parade, dance shows, and firecrackers. And over to my dad's birthplace, the UK. Guy Fawkes Day or Bonfire Night is happening. This is to remember a failed assassination attempt called the Gunpowder Plot of 1605, 400 years ago, and they still celebrate this. One man, Mr. Guy Fawkes, initiated this rebellion. He wanted to burn one of the Houses of Parliament down to the ground. It failed. All the conspirators were executed. It is celebrated on November 5th. They celebrate Fawkes' demise and the survival of their king by burning effigies, which are statues created simply to be burned, lighting bonfires, and setting off fireworks. So if you are celebrating any of these holidays this year, please reply on the poll with a check on that holiday that is yours so that we can see how many people celebrate this, how many people celebrate that, or none at all. You're listening to Chocolate Cake on Tuesday, and I am your host, Charlotte Emma. I hope you've made yourself comfortable and are enjoying your slice of cake. Now, for part 2 of our conversation, we are kicking it off with some winter blues remedies. I will start with a quote from Albert Camus. In the depths of winter, I finally learned that there was, in me, an invincible summer. If you are heading into the fall season and you are really not looking forward to the cold, the darker days, the moodiness of the weather, the shortness of the days, or the fact that a lot of people are spending their time indoors, they get a little bit hibernate-y, less social, and you might be worried that you're going to see people less. You might be thankful that you're going to see people less. However, knowing that if this does happen, you might just feel a little bit lonely. If you're worried or anxious, I get you, I'm with you. There's no need to be worried. There are some things that you can incorporate into your fall practice that will help you to be a little bit brighter, happier, make your day a little bit more exciting, something to look forward to. Okay, the first one is to get light and fresh air. If this is simply opening your windows in the middle of the day, or even better, going outside for a walk. If it is turning on your lights, your fairy lights, candles, and overhead lights to make that room a little bit brighter, or getting out in the morning and starting your day with some sunshine. If you need to as well, and the sun just doesn't shine where you are, take some vitamin D. Make sure you're getting that light and fresh air. I promise you, a little bit every day will go a long way. The second, nourishing food and daily exercise. Again, another simple one, but could make a huge difference. In the cold, we like to have comfort food. And when we're feeling lonely, this often includes very high calorie, dense, sweet foods that are comforting. I will give you that. However, they may not help in the long term. Some beautiful, colorful, fresh vegetables, along with some nourishing whole grains or broth or soup, could really warm you up, make you feel so good inside, and give you more well-balanced nutrients that will benefit your overall health. I can recommend blueberries, dark chocolate, and dark green leafy vegetables for a mood booster, and daily exercise, even if it's just a yoga stretch in the morning or before you go to bed, or getting some home workouts, or going to the gym with a friend, even better, or going for a run in the middle of the day. Find somewhere where you can spend 10 minutes to 30 minutes moving your body, warm you up, get rid of the creakiness, and honestly give you that boost that you need. Number 3, find excuses to be with community. I know you don't feel like it. I know it's cold. I know it's dark. I know that you feel like being at home with your series, but this can be detrimental to our soul. Be with community during this season. I am a homebody. I am an introvert. I do not want to go seeking things that people are doing. However, I will do this because I know that to function as a human being, I need this, and I can recommend that you do this as well. What's even more fun for me, and maybe you would enjoy as well, host your own things. If you are doing a beautiful fall picnic, tell peeps, let them come, bring their own food. If you are having a Sunday breakfast, don't do it alone. Invite people into your home, have them around your table, and you will have the best time ever. Number 4, make a shared bucket list. Whether you are married with a family, or you have a partner, or you are living with someone, or you are single and you have a friend who may be interested, you have someone that you could make a shared bucket list with. So one up from making your own bucket list is to share this bucket list with someone, get them to add things, and then tick them off together preferably, but also alone. Take pictures if you're on the opposite side of the world and send each other updates of how the bucket list is going on your side of the world. This may just put the smile on your face that you are looking for, sharing those experiences with people and really making the most of this fall season. Number 5, serve your city. Being outwardly focused with our hands, our words, and our mouths is so helpful to get us focusing less on our own problems and mood booster. And also, it makes us feel good to help someone. So if you can, join a charity program. If you can, avoid just giving money, even though this is great, and congratulations for doing that. That is amazing. Try to get your hands involved any way you can, whether it's making posters or handing them out, or making food, or face painting, or making cupcakes, or whatever your city is kind of involved in. Get involved physically. This may just totally transform your fall and help you against those winter blues. And the 6th and last one is to explore hygge. So hygge, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, is a term for basically comfort. I have here from a blogger, it is an atmosphere and an experience rather than things. It is about being with people we love, a feeling of home. So if you go and search Pinterest or Google with the word hygge and you search images, or if you're on Pinterest, it will come up with a whole lot of ways that you can introduce hygge into your routine, your schedule, your life, and your home. Don't feel this as a pressure thing. Maybe pick 1 or 2 things that you can incorporate to make your experience of fall more cozy and comfortable. And don't forget to do it with people that you love. And now we've reached my favorite part of today's episode. I have been looking forward to reading this poem to you. It is called October. It is a pastoral poem written by an American poet, Robert Frost. Pastoral refers to any poem that sort of speaks about shepherding or sheep. It's like a farmer's poem, but it speaks about the countryside / shepherding as more romantic or idyllic than realistic. This sounds crazy. I don't know, shepherd's poem, but there is a whole section just for these poems. Shakespeare wrote a pastoral poem. It is an actual genre. Go look it up. They are beautiful. This particular poem was published in London in 1913. October by Robert Frost. O hushed October morning mild, thy leaves have ripened to the fall. Tomorrow's wind, if it be wild, should waste them all. The crows above the forest call, tomorrow they may form and go. O hushed October morning mild, begin the hours of this day slow. Make the day seem to us less brief. Hearts not averse to being beguiled, beguile us in the way you know. Release one leaf at break of day. At noon, release another leaf, one from our trees, one far away. Retard the sun with gentle mist, enchant the land with amethyst. Slow, slow, for the grapes' sake, if they were all, whose leaves already are burnt with frost, whose clustered fruit may else be lost, for the grapes' sake along the wall. I'm going to end this episode with a short Bible reading to offer you some encouragement as you head into your day this fall. I will be reading from Acts 14, verse 17. Yet he has not left himself without testimony. He has shown kindness by giving you rain from heaven and crops in their seasons. He provides you with plenty of food and fills your hearts with joy. Thank you for joining me today on Chocolate Cake on Tuesday. If you want to see more content just like this, don't forget to like this episode, leave me a comment, or if you're on Spotify, a review. Share this episode with a friend or family member and subscribe to my channel and show. Now, how about another slice and some tea? Introducing a new segment into our show just to try it out, and this is a section where we hear what you are saying. Okay, so I asked you and you responded. Thank you so much. I will not be mentioning names. However, if you would like me to mention your name and do a special shout out, let me know because I'm still figuring this whole thing out. So, our first friend is representing South Africa in Ireland. She's just moved and she and her family are having their first fall in Europe this year. So they are going to try as many of the fall treats they can get their hands on and start their own fall tradition. I'm excited for you. Her first adventure is a fall wreath for her front door. She started it already and it looks fabulous. She says, "We have an abundance of foliage all around us, so it makes it easier to make a wreath on a small to no budget." Thank you so much for that tip. I hope that many listeners try this out. Okay, our next person who has typed on in to my question on Instagram, where I asked if you were also excited about this season, is a voice from Germany in Portugal. She says, "OMG, haha, I feel so ready for fall and winter." Me too. Another voice representing Latvia in Portugal as well. "Well, I can definitely wear fancy jackets now." So there is that. And the last one representing France in Portugal. She is looking forward to reading. She says, "Every season is the best for reading. In the autumn and winter, she loves to specifically read by a window with a fire close by, a must in her future dream house. She is currently on the lookout for comfy tea houses with an armchair in Lisbon. If you do find a place, let me know. Take a photo. I will be there joining you for sure." Happy Tuesday!